Okay. Good morning, Ayakame. Long time no see and nice and early. How are you doing? Hey, Christopher. Good morning. How are you? Hey, Stefan. Good to see you. Hope you're all doing well. And I guess you guys can see me okay, hear me all right. Put it into the chat if there's any issues. I don't think so. Hey, Nev. Good morning. How are you doing? Hey, Diana. Good morning. Hope you're all well, trading well. Well, maybe not a lot of trades. I only had my pound dollar from last night finally closed out on a profit. I know a couple of you might have got onto gold, hopefully got onto gold as it was rocketing to the upside. Hey Jimmy, how are you doing? Thanks for that, Christopher. Hey Christina, almost finished my day, almost. It's been a quiet week, well, not really ended off, possibly ending off the week with the pound dollar. We'll see if there's any other setups for today. Good morning, Jumarinas. Okay, so let's get going. If you are new to the session, as usual, please drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. For all the regulars, a big welcome back. Thank you again. It is Friday, end of the week. So we're ending the week, a relatively quiet week as well. So hopefully we'll see increased liquidity and volatility into next week. We'll do a quick forward-looking or look forward into next week's news. We did that yesterday already, but I'll do it again today. And then if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. And if you can help me out massively, do remember to click that like and subscribe button. That thumbs up does help somehow to get more people onto the session. So I would really appreciate it if you can do that for me. And with that, hey, so Henko, good morning, how are you doing? I think I missed out on the previous couple of days, but yesterday I did. When I uploaded yesterday's one, when I posted a link in yesterday's one, I just realized that I missed out on 2 days. No idea how I missed out on that. I think I pasted in, but just forgot to press enter or something happened, right? But yes, it's there. If you are on Discord, do also remember to jump on to follow me on TradingView as well. Once you read the analysis, click that little rocket ship button, right? Click that little rocket ship button as well. Okay, but yes, sometimes I do miss out on pasting it on Discord. I'll try and do that more consistently. Okay, what was I going to say? Yes, if anyone watching is in the UAE, if you're in the UAE, I do have an event coming up on the 8th and 9th of June, if I'm not wrong. In the 9th, the links will be up soon, so make sure you join us on Discord. I'll update you guys there. Looking forward to catching up with everyone who is in the UAE for the June event. All right, so looking forward to that. More details to come. With all that said, a quick disclaimer: any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Please do your own due diligence, as the contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, and your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Now, with that, take that away. Oops, don't need that. Where are we? Okay, there. Why do you have it when I travel? It's okay. There will be more to come. There will be more to come, Diana. So if I can't catch you this time, I'll catch you next time. But hey, anyone watching, and if you are, Diana, if you are going to be away, you can always, when I share the details out, you can always share it with Anyone else who is still in the UAE, you can get them to join me for the session as well, for the event. All right, I'll look forward to you guys sharing that with everyone else. Okay, what has happened? What has happened since the last time we spoke? This was a bit of a surprise. Right? This was a bit of a surprise. At 7 p.m. GMT plus 8 yesterday, we had the Bank of England with their interest rate decision. They held rates, no big surprise there, at 5.25%, but the bank rate votes came out as a bit of a surprise, where it was 0.18. We were expecting 0.09. That means no members voting to hike, no members voting to cut, and 9 members voting to hold. But, I don't know how many times I've said but now already, but they voted 0.27. 0 members voting to hike, 2 members voting to cut, and 7 members voting to hold. So slightly dovish tone there from the from the MPC members, right, from the Bank of England, voting for 2 members to vote from 1 to 2 members now voting to cut rates, and 7 voting to hold. What resulted from this difference in the bank rate votes was on the pound dollar. On release of the news at 7, we saw it at 1.2487. It shot down to 1.2446, but it kind of did exactly what we expected for it to come down before bouncing back up off this level that we have highlighted, this 50% level. Right, we said grabbing liquidity to the from the downside to bounce back up. It's bounced once on the 25th of April, once again 27th, well no, 26th, again on the 1st of May, close to it on the 2nd of May, close to it on the 8th of May, and then again on the 9th. It came down, bounced up. I did it on the 15-minute. I was watching it as it broke down. Right, this is on release of the news. It broke down. Put in the Bollinger. It was outside the band. So to me, I went, okay, it's outside the band. Yes, it's not great news for the pound dollar, but I was looking at the dollar index as well. It was dropping. So as it came back in, I still had that order sitting there. It came back in, it came up, it triggered the order just before the 8 o'clock candle, and then it just went up from there. Okay, it pushed up. I didn't change this because I wanted to show you guys this trade, but as it pushed up, then it went to stop loss, went to break even. I just let it run. As it went up at 11, 12 o'clock there, after it pushed down, it came back up again. After this move out of the Bollinger, it came back in. Right, I can't do it here, but I moved my stop loss up to secure some profits, just to let it run and see what happens. And then I started pushing up just before today's session at 2, when the GDP was released. I was in profit already, so I thought I'll take a chance, see how much higher I can go. Can it hit my take profit? It shot up to the resistance level and closed out at my 60 pip take profit. Share that with you guys on the Discord channel as well. All right, so that's what's happened from last night all the way through this morning with the Bank of England rates decision, voting, and then if you look at today, we just had the GDP number at 2 p.m. when it was released. It was 0.1, revised up to 0.2. Estimates beat the previous to get released at 0.4. That's why we saw that spike up, well, spike, inverted commas, spike up on the pound dollar to the upside, right? And that's why we saw that happen. My question I posed to everyone on Discord was, now I'm watching at what happens at this point. Is it going to break that resistance for further upside, or is it going to test this level and turn back down? That's a question we will address later through this session. Okay, so I'll take that away for now. Then, going back to yesterday again, we had the US at 8:30 p.m. US unemployment claims slightly higher than expected and previous. It was 208, revised slightly upwards to 209. Expected 212, came out at 231. Right, it came out at 231. So not great news for the US, and we kind of need, it sounds a bit funny, but we kind of need unemployment to climb up slightly, just so that it might trigger the FOMC to think about cutting rates, right? To think about cutting rates. So that push up led to some possibility, increased likelihood or thoughts that the FOMC could cut rates, or bring it back slightly onto the table that it could cut rates. And that's why we saw at 8:30 the dollar index going from 105.70 right down, breaking that support level down to 105.40, and then continued slightly lower. Okay, so that slight increase in unemployment claims led the dollar index to the downside. Hey Diggs, by the way, how you doing? What's up? Hey Angel Case, good morning. I will share the link. Thanks for that, Diana. I had similar trade but closed a bit earlier. That's okay. That's all good. Okay, then with that, didn't bother too much about all that. The GDP for the UK, 0.4, we spoke about that. That's why we saw the push to the upside on the pound dollar. Following on from that, tonight might be an early end of the week for me, but we do have the CAD employment numbers to be released. Employment change looking to go from a -2.2 to a 20.9. Very good number expected. Very positive change in terms of employment expected for the CAD, but unemployment rate likely to go from a 6.1 to a 6.2. So a small increase in unemployment rate, but employment numbers or employment change looking to increase quite significantly from a -2.2 to a 20.9. Right? And then consumer sentiment likely to drop slightly, bring about maybe some further downward move on the dollar, maybe, but so far I don't think it's a big drop. I think it's still reasonable if it stays along that 70 something, above 75. I think it's still fine. Okay, then with all that said, looking into next week, it's going to be interesting next week, right? I'm not so bothered about the Chinese CPI, but it's going to be interesting next week because we have inflation expectations quarter on quarter for the Kiwi, right? For the Kiwi on Monday, we have inflation expectations. It might bring about some movement on the Kiwi, but if you look at it, when it loads up, it kind of is not going to vary too much. I might see a slowdown in 2.5, maybe down to 2.25, 2.3. So maybe some slowdowns there, maybe some weakness to come in the Kiwi dollar on Monday. On Tuesday, we have claimant count numbers, employment numbers for the UK, PPI for the US, but more importantly, I'll be looking to Wednesday. Wednesday, we have the CPI for the US. CPI year on year for the US looking to go from a 3.5 to a 3.4. Right, if you look at this, it has been beating estimates slightly over the last several months. If it does go from a 3.5 to a 3.4 or a 3.3 number, maybe we'll see further downside on the dollar. All right, we'll look to that. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday, but we could anticipate some significant volatility with this news. CPI numbers to come for the US, employment numbers on Thursday for the Aussies, and then the Euro CPI number is not going to surprise too much, but something to look forward to on Friday. Okay, so a lot of things to look forward to next week. I hope so, because it has been a quiet week this week. I had four trades now for this week. Not the quietest, but still relatively quiet. Okay, relatively slow. So with all that said, a quick reference to the Fed Watch 2. Despite the unemployment claims last night, it's a weekly number as well, the chance of a rate cut has not changed that much for June, right? June 12th, 91.3, 91.5, not a big change expected there, so no big surprises. So with all that said, looking at the dollar index here, okay, looking at the dollar index. Today is the 10th of May, end of the week. We saw that break, that consolidation. Take that one away. Well, we were right here yesterday. There. Right, we saw that consolidation. We saw that breakout as we kind of expected. It came close to that 105.80. It went up to 105.73. I thought it was going to go up, retrace down, and then spike back up. It went up. It retraced a lot more than I expected. Spiked up less than I expected. So kind of the same movements, but not in the same magnitude. So it went up, came back down, broke that trend line. So I'll take that trend line away. And if you look at this now with this move, 50, it's just along this range. I don't need that, so we can take that one away. You can see that it came up to that 61.8 level and rejected, right? So it pushed up to that 105.80 and that 61.8 area, which is where we have this. Came close, tested, and then rejected to the downside. Pushing down, breaking below 38.2. What we're watching for now is if it stays above that 105 level. That's why I have the 105. No, we should look at this 105.10 level. Right, consolidating in this point. Let me think about this. No major news for the US, but it's reversed back down. If we think about this, we see it's bounced back up to 23.6. Looks like it's rejecting that to push back down. All right, let's keep that. Okay, so you can see how it's respecting the levels. It's came back down, it's tested 23.6, looking like it's pushing back down. What we'll be looking for would be, I want to say, further downside on the dollar index. But I think that there might be a limit to that downside, to that 105 level. Right. And this was, so this week it's gone up from here up. Let me just check something. Just want to see how it's been moving for this week. So this move, for this week's move to the upside, it came back down to that 61.8 level. Right, it came back down to that 61.8 level and bounced, tested, rejected. I'm tempted to consider that if it sits there, we could see it break down. Oh, okay. I think I know what to anticipate. Okay, what I'm thinking now, right? It's tested at 23.6 level. I'm thinking that it could sit here in this area. All right, could break up, and then after that, maybe back down again to this point, to that 105 level. So how it looks like, or what it means, is that it's bouncing off that 61.8. I'm looking for the dollar index to retest, consolidating. Look to retest 105.50. Then it could 105.50, then trade lower to 105, round number support. There you go. Hey Lydia, how are you doing? Okay, so consolidating right now, looking for it to break up to test 105.50 in that area, and then to reverse to trade lower down to that 105 round number support level. It should be there. I'm doing super. Thank you. Okay, so I'll look for that. So possibly brief upside for the dollar index before a continuation back down again. What do you think is going to happen to the yen? We'll get to that shortly. Just bear with me. Okay, I don't need that 38.2. Okay, I'll keep that. I'm happy with that now. Then looking at the Kiwi, broke that trend line, take that away. No, actually move that right up, and you see a possible double top. So take that. That did not trigger. Take it away. 38.2 held. A double top seems to be forming here, but I'm not convinced that we're going to see that big move to the downside yet. 38.2 is, or has been holding quite well on Wednesday. All right, and it's too late to get into a trade right now. Even if you looked at that, that would be a 30 pip stop, 30 pip take. I wouldn't do that. I think that I'm not too keen on the Kiwi right now. I would still maintain that view that if it does push down there, then 105, 5975, I can keep tight stop loss here at 15, take profit down to 40. I wouldn't want to do anything in the middle here, just because it's quite choppy in between. Okay, so I'll still look for it to break that 38.2 level to trade down to that 61.8 level. So 5975, 15 to 40 to the downside. I can lower that. Just because we're looking for it to break that level, we can lower that stop loss slightly. Now on to, okay, I'll add that in as well. Possible double top. So those of you who are a little bit more aggressive, you could look to get in earlier with that double top. You could be looking at a setup like that 30 pip, and then you look for that move for 80 to the downside. Why I'm not super keen on this is because we're thinking that the dollar might go up, but then after that turn back down again. So I just want to be a bit more cautious to see what happens at this point here. Okay. Then onto the Aussie, we were talking about this. If you stretch this right across to where we were talking about yesterday, it would have gone up, came back down, and now looking like it's pushing up again, breaking up to the upside. We talked about this on possible dollar weakness, scenario. If you got onto that, I did not get into that trade, but if you got into that trade, let me know. Now that's done, so we can take that away. I would I don't know why this line is here. Should put it there. Okay, hang on. Okay, there. It should be there. It should be like that. That would make a lot more sense on that line, on that trend line. That's holding prices up. Now, what if we tested this move up? $23 bounce. Okay, I don't need that. Take that away. What I would be looking for on the Aussie would be a continuation to the upside. So I want to see it go up. I want to see it test that resistance level. And you can see that that's a 50% retracement level. That's quite a big move to the downside. So we've seen it reverse once in March. It's come close in April and again in May. Now we're looking for it to push back up to that level and look for reaction at 6656 or 6660. It's going to push up. It looks like it's going to go up. I don't think it'll be worth. That's a 40 pip move. I don't think it'd be worth trying to trade it up for that 40. I'll look for reaction at 6660. Nothing on the Aussie at this point. Okay, so if you didn't get into that trade, then on the Aussie I would be waiting and looking for a reaction at 0.6660. Then onto okay, I'm happy with that. Then onto the yen. I was so keen on this again. I thought, as it was pushing up, could it go up? Could it go up? Could I buy it up? Didn't happen. Did not even come close to activating that setup. Now with that, you can see that still on a revised trend line. And in fact, if we did this, you'd see that channel does seem to work quite well, like that. Body, top, test, looks like it could be pushing up. Now with that in mind, I would still maintain, although I deleted it already, but I would still maintain that view, and I'll consider that that's going to be a good resistance area at 156. So I wanted to break above what, if you're a bit more aggressive, hey, you could be looking for a trade, and I don't recommend this just because it's below that round number level. But you could be looking at a 40 pip stop loss and 115 to the upside. You could be looking at that a bit more. That's a bit aggressive. I think that we could actually I think that there are two possibilities here, and you want to keep a bit flexible on the yen, where you could be looking at 156.25. Take profit would be a good 70 pips to the upside. Stop loss could be a good 35 pips to the downside. And like Diana says, there is a fair value, which is a strong obstacle if you go long. And that's why I thought there is the opportunity. In fact, what I kind of prefer, okay, I'm going to move this down a bit so it doesn't mess up my areas. What I kind of prefer would be to consider a break and then a reverse back down, especially as it breaks that trend line, right? Also because we're thinking that the dollar index could push lower, right? Doesn't look like it's going to test up now, but if it does test and push lower, we could see this test and reverse. Then for it to break that channel would make a lot more sense to the downside. Then you would consider selling down 155.80. Stop loss would be 40 pips. Take profit could be, let me see, could be down to this point here, which is about 154.60 or 154.50, this area here, which would be about 130 to the downside. Okay, a bit risky, but that's where we're looking for that reversal, quite similar to what we see here. Right, a test and a rejection of this level back down. Now we're seeing it gone back up. We're looking for a test and a rejection back down again on the US yen. I like that one. I like that more. So we're looking for the US yen to test and reject 156. Then we're looking to sell at 155.80. Is it 155.80? Stop loss 40, take profit 130. There we go. Stop loss 40, take profit 130. All right. Stop loss is high or after, yes, after rejection of, you need to see it test and reject of this resistance level. You could go for, you could go just at 156 to 20 pips. I think 40 will be reasonable. If you see that rejection and then it starts bouncing back up, if it comes close to testing 156 again, then you could close it out even before it gets to the stop loss. Right? So, but that's a bit more comfortable in terms of the stop loss level. Above that round number and above that channel again. So we're looking for it to break to the downside. Test and reject, and then also break below channel or break out of bullish channel. Then we will sell 155.80, stop loss 40, take profit 130. Then it's quite interesting. You see, now it's showing a bit of an upside move while the dollar is showing some downside. So that's going to be interesting. Pound dollar again looking, so that's done already. We've seen that happen. Right, looking at this on the resistance level, how it's bounced off, anticipating dollar weakness to come, to continue, or to resume. For it to break that resistance to the upside, you'll be looking at a 1.2550, stop loss 25. I don't want it too near because it's just at that point. Take profit, we don't need that. Take profit, we could do it to this point there at about 55. That previous high right there. So break above that resistance to the upside. We're looking for that move up, holding to go up. Okay, so 1.2550, stop loss 25, take profit 55 to the upside. 1.2550, stop loss 25, take profit 55 as it breaks that resistance. Yep, I'm happy with that. Then onto the euro, that did not reverse. We saw dollar weaken, so euro pushed up. And what's the big news? Comment, standout FX option strike expires, expiry for the week ahead. Okay. Looking at this, I don't think this is a key level. No, 61 is gone past already, so we don't need that. This point most relevant to be there, so we're looking at this high. You're looking at again a reaction at this 1.08 level, right? 1.08. If it breaks up, Bollinger is tightening up. If it breaks up, then you could be looking for that push up. However, I think that if you look at this, we're a bit balanced on the Kiwi and the Aussie. Pound, we're looking to buy it up. So if the dollar does weaken, we have the pound to buy it up. What I'll probably look for in this case would be very similar to what we saw on the 3rd, just last week, would be a test and reject back down. Look to sell it down from about 1.0785. Stop loss 20, quite tight. Take profit, I'll go down to 60 to the downside. Mostly EU sell, yes. And that's what I'll be thinking, keeping within that range. So maybe you can go even a little bit higher. 1.0790, stop loss 20, take profit 60, it'll still be reasonable. 1.0790, 20 to 60 to the downside. 1.0790, 20 to 60 to the downside. Still looking for that selling opportunity. Okay, then on to the US Swiss franc. Did not go up, dollar pushed back down, so we see this rejecting that 38.2 level to push lower, breaking out the consolidation, sitting right in the middle of these 2 points. It's not the best place for the Swiss franc to be at. If it does break lower, we could see further downside, but it's going to be choppy. I think that it's going to be choppy in this range, so I wouldn't do anything there. I think the Swiss franc is going to be choppy at current level, right? I don't even think that it could come down to this support, or more likely would be for it to do that again, or to do something at that point. So choppy is normal for the Swiss franc, yes.